Football Moshla is back for you guys, and we're here for a full-length podcast. I'm your host, Fardan Ahmed. With me, I have my very talented co-host, Qazi Adil. We're bringing you so many topics. We're in the middle of UEFA Champions League. It just finished. It was round 4 of UEFA Champions League. Today, we're going to talk about the another bombastic interview that Cristiano Ronaldo did with Piers Morgan, and he has dropped so many bombs as he usually does. We're going to start with that. And then we're going to talk about some big teams in the Champions League, specifically Liverpool, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and Chelsea, of how Bayern Munich are soon to be invincible or are already invincible. And probably we can already label them a champion. And we're going to talk about the Under-20 World Cup, which was won by a certain team from North Africa, Morocco. And nobody expected them to do that. And what was the secret sauce for Morocco to achieve that? Adil, let's bring you in. How are you? How was your week?
Fantastic. It was great. I haven't been on the podcast since Manchester United turned things around, won back-to-back games, and then three in a row, and then drew with Nottingham Forest. Just to say,
the naughty team.
But I'm not surprised. I'm still not convinced by that midfield combination and that formation. But going back to Ronaldo.
I'll tell our listeners and viewers, if you have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to our channel. We'd love you already. We'd love you more. Smash the like button if you love the content, which I'm sure you do. We're bringing you fresh content every week. And subscribe to the channel for sure. Yes, Adil, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, with his best buddy Piers Morgan. So how did it was part 1. We're still waiting for part 2 of the interview. So it's your favorite football/soccer player that you admire, adore, idolize. So there were some interesting comments there, right? I'm not interested in his personal love story with Georgina. More interested about, he's talked about Manchester United, Ruben Amorim, and also he talked about winning the World Cup is not a dream for him, right? And previously he said that winning the World Cup with Portugal is a dream for him, and how he is apparently doesn't care. The interview came off to me as something like, I don't care, I don't give a beep about anybody thinking anything about me.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can talk about it. And I think it was a business decision by Piers Morgan. He's trying to grow his digital content. So what better way to go and get Cristiano Ronaldo and do that? And then part 2, and it was because YouTube has a collaboration system now. So both the channels got highlighted as collabs.
Same as Instagram.
Same as Instagram, right? Yeah.
Wow.
So Piers Morgan saw that and he's like, hey, let me call up my buddy Ronaldo. Before we go into anything, I'm just going to say this, Fardan. He has been playing in Saudi Arabia. He's been scoring a lot of goals, but he has not won anything with Al Nassr.
Yeah, no silverware. I know, even if I'm his fan, I cannot disagree. No silverware. Yes, he did get close. He has posted emotional messages that he will bring it home. He believes in the crowd, the team, the management, but the trophy cabinet is not doing the talking.
It's not. He's just there, like I said before, individual honors, right? To get to the 1,000 career goals threshold, right? Okay. So let's get into the first part of it. He said Manchester United don't have a structure and Ruben Amorim can do miracles, right? He seemed like a little bitter about Manchester United, but he also mentioned that it's a club close to his heart, right? My thing is that Manchester United didn't have a structure, but Manchester United brought you back for the second homecoming, right?
Yep.
So that means that was a wrong decision by Manchester United. That's the question that I have. So, like in another interview, Jurgen Klopp also mentioned that these second homecomings never work, bringing back Cristiano Ronaldo, bringing back Paul Pogba. That's why he never wanted to bring anybody back to Liverpool. He built a team on young, hungry players. Manchester United don't have a structure right now. I think they do have a structure. I don't know if it's an effective structure. There's a team that is doing the recruitment. There's a team that is running the football club. Ineos is part of it. Jason Wilcox and Christian Vivel. They are in getting the players, in charge of getting the players, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is this, that when he came back, if he claims to be the greatest of all time, you need a structure to drag a team? I don't think so.
Yeah,
He
if
had
you
a,
guys have not watched, he did say he's better than Messi.
yeah, I mean, so Messi is dragging an Inter Miami team to the playoffs of the MLS, right? I'm pretty sure they're going to go far. He might not be able to succeed, but he's dragging that team. Apart from Messi, there's an old Suarez there, but apart from that, there's nothing much. Jordi Alba, Suarez, and Messi are dragging that team. When Ronaldo came back to Manchester United had a good team. They had, remind me if I'm mistaken,
Yeah,
they had Paul Pogba.
they
They
had Paul
had
Pogba, Jadon Sancho,
Greenwood.
Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, Luke Shaw,
Yes.
uh,
Maguire is still
Bruno
there,
Fernandes,
but
obviously.
Maguire was a younger Maguire.
Yeah,
They had David De Gea. So
yeah.
Casemiro was there. Casemiro was signed.
Rafael Varane as well.
Rafael Varane was there. So he had quite a lot of players. So my thing is that he couldn't drag that team to the finish line, and he wanted to leave once he fell out with the manager.
His frustration is talking, definitely. The homecoming was sweet, but he left on bitter terms. Definitely bittersweet. But I think that experience kind of changed him. I think he went in with a lot of expectations. He had the state of the art facilities at Real Madrid, and he expected Man United to have built their structure more over time. But when he saw the everything, old English stuff, that really bothered him, and he tried to be the father figure for the team, to lead everybody and to push. So the team looked up to Cristiano Ronaldo, Rafael Varane, Casemiro, and they really wanted them to be the more experienced players. But those things are still in him, and he's trying to leave it behind. And obviously his growth, the first major club he played for will always be Manchester United. So his sweet spot is still there. But for him to say those again, for me as a Manchester United fan, it's not a good feeling. Even though I love him to death, Cristiano Ronaldo, he's my GOAT, but it just doesn't sit well with me, especially after whatever Amorim is trying. I'm not saying he's doing the best. We all know that. The guy who did not cut his hair for 5 consecutive games is still not going to cut his hair after what happened at City Ground.
Going on 400 days.
Yeah.
400 days of not cutting his hair. Yeah.
Not cutting his hair. And Ronaldo, it's just his frustration. But for him to say the World Cup, I have a theory. This is just based on how much I know him, because, obviously I still remember him walking onto the pitch side, talking to Sir Alex. And remember, speaking of Sir Alex was instrumental in bringing him back for the homecoming. He played a big part of it. But
yeah, he wanted to go to Manchester City.
Yeah, which would have been.
So his loyalty should have been questioned at that time, regardless, right? If you are a Manchester United, if you're a recruitment guy and a Manchester United recruiter, you should have questioned his loyalty at that time.
Right then and there, exactly. But for him to get back to United, Sir Alex played a big role. But going back to what I was trying to say, knowing him, he always brought in the spotlight. He would say big things before a game, because the media was not all social media at that time. It was mostly print media and a little bit of news here and there. There was nothing live. There was nothing instant. So he would say a big thing before the game, and he would talk the talk and he would walk the walk. So he was that player, and he invited pressure, and he went to the big tournaments, the UCLs and the World Cups. 2018 World Cup was when everybody thought Ronaldo was going to get it, especially after his hat trick against Spain. But the team wasn't that good. 2022 World Cup, Portugal had a really nasty team, in good terms, nasty, but they weren't clinical. 2026 World Cup, which is coming in with the likes of Nuno Mendes, Bruno Fernandes, um, so many.
Vitinha,
Vitinha, Joao Neves,
João
Dalo.
Neves. Yeah. There's
It's
Rafael Leao.
Rafael Leao. Thank you. All these players are excellent, and when they played as a unit not that far ago in the Nations League, they were very determined. Ronaldo was emotional. He held the trophy. He looked at it, and he loves to perform for his country more than his club. For him to say that, I feel like he's taking the pressure off. He just doesn't want the pressure anymore. He wants to go in, and this time, no talk, just the walk. This is just my theory as a fan. I think that he's just doing it to ease pressure off, but the other possibility still remains that he really feels like the World Cup isn't anything, and he has a bit of bitterness towards how Messi got labeled GOAT right away after the World Cup, and he was like, he's not the GOAT. So that's another possibility.
Well, I mean, that's a nice way of thinking about it. And maybe he's trying to play the mind games. The mind games have started, right? But he also said that you cannot judge a player's legacy over the course of 7 games. But correct me if I'm wrong. Ronaldo Nazario de Lima of Brazil, he defined his legacy at the 2002 World Cup over the course of those 7 games after coming back from injury, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So people did not see him playing for Inter Milan. He was injured. They saw glimpses of him at Barcelona when he started young, but Inter Milan, nobody saw because he got injured. He had a knee injury. Then he came back, and his legacy is defined by that. It was the Ronaldo and Ronaldinho show at the 2002 World Cup. 7 games defined his entire legacy. And after that, he didn't do anything much on a club level. He went to Real Madrid, but he struggled with his injuries. So Ronaldo saying that, and maybe he's doing the mind games. He started the mind games. But I think, yeah, it's of course his desire. Definitely, only reason he's playing is because he wants to play at the World Cup. The Saudi League is not at that intense, less injury prone, right? So there's less chance of him having an injury compared to if he's playing in the Premier League. Because when he played in the Premier League for Manchester United, he struggled. You guys can say a lot about his fitness, but I looked at it and I'm like, this is an old guy trying to keep up with the pace of the Premier League, and he couldn't. He got bullied by Van Dijk. He got bullied by young defenders, right? So that's in the Premier League. His fitness levels are not that much. He does great stuff to prevent the injuries, no doubt about that. But he's just prolonging his career just to play for the World Cup. And maybe, yeah, that's a nice way of saying it. That his deepest desire on a soccer or football level is basically to win the World Cup with Portugal, or should I say, to win the World Cup for himself. Because what I gathered, and I've always known this, it's him over the team. Individual honors over collective honors for him.
I'm just gonna beg to differ on 2 counts. Everything else I agree with you, actually. His personal thing is actually, he's infamous for that. 2 counts first count is Premier League. I totally agree with you that his fitness was not up to the par in the 2021-22 league, but his impact as a number 9 in Manchester United in that season to score against, maybe he didn't score against City or Liverpool, but the impact he had was nice. It was incredible. He scored all kinds of goals. He scored in the opener. He scored the hat-trick against Tottenham Hotspurs. Whether it was a newly promoted team or a mid-tier team, he was on the score sheet. He did great in the Champions League as well with the Villarreal performance and all that. So I feel like in terms of goals, he did the talking, but fitness-wise, he actually struggled, but he was determined to be on the score sheet. For the second count, I feel like for the World Cup, it is the pinnacle of football. It is the absolute top. For someone who's so much into numbers and glory, he would do it for himself, absolutely. But when it comes to Portugal, if you look at his eyes, I know I'm a fanboy, but if you look at him as face, everything changes when it comes to his country. His passion is very different. So I still think that he will do it for his country as well as for him.
Fair enough. I mean, it's hard to judge someone's how do you say it? Someone's patriotism for their country, right?
For sure. I would. None
Because
of
his
us know
body
him
language,
personally. Yeah.
yeah. So maybe definitely, of course, but for that to happen, it's going to be a tough one because Roberto Martinez is their manager, and Roberto Martinez is not known for winning trophies. So
That's the thing. I really thought after the World Cup we'll get a different. I mean, not we. Portugal will get a different manager, but
oof.
they just
So
stuck
you have to
him.
decide Brazil or Portugal. Well, you said we. Isn't Brazil your team?
Yeah, Brazil is my international team. I ditched England after the consecutive Euro defeats. I'm done with England. It's too much expectation. But for Portugal, it's just a soft corner for Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, there's also a deep hurt by and a deep desire, a redemption curve happening or might happen for one other player. That is Harry Kane of England.
Oh,
He
yeah.
missed that penalty against France, and he didn't speak that much about it. But I think at the one interview he spoke about it, that it still hurts him. And I have never seen him miss a penalty on club level after that miss.
Exactly.
So the World Cup will be awesome because it's going to be Harry Kane factor, Ronaldo factor, to an extent Messi factor. Then there's the Mbappe factor for France. Spain doesn't have any factors. Spain has Spain factor. Everybody can play anywhere.
Now Spain is the factor itself. Yeah, the team itself is the factor.
So we'll see. Interesting. So we're waiting for the part 2 to come out, and then we can bash Ronaldo more. I mean, I can bash Ronaldo. I know people hate me for that, but it's okay. Ronaldo is in it for his goals. Yeah, but good luck to Ronaldo. Now moving on to Champions League. Fardan.
Yep.
Ronaldo.
Speaking of Ronaldo, we have to go to Champions League.
Ronaldo's former club, Real Madrid, got their butt handed to them by Liverpool.
They did. Anfield has never been a good place for Real Madrid.
Back to back. Last group stage, they got their butt handed. It was a Connor Bradley show against Vinny and Mbappe.
Yeah,
this time it has been.
God, Bradley was so amazing in that game. For someone to take
question is this.
Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No. Someone to take on both the players, Bradley, taking on Mbappe and Vinny Jr. Yeah. So the question is this. And you have very much actually asked us that are Liverpool in a resurgent period, or why did they struggle in the first place?
Exactly, because they went through a phase where they lost matches. I believe it was 5 matches or 4 matches. And suddenly when they played Frankfurt in the Champions League, they won 5-1. And they breathed a sigh of relief and they're like, okay, we're back on track. Then came the 3-2 defeat to Brentford of all teams, and 3-0 thrashing at Palace. So after that, it was like, okay, we're back. And they moved to the number 10 or number 9 in the table. Then Aston Villa, away fixture at Villa, they won 2-0. And against Madrid, we thought it was a topsy-turvy again. They're going to lose or draw. But they actually, Madrid had their butt handed to them. Liverpool were solid defensively. They put wave after wave of attack. Courtois, he'd had so many saves in the first half. Liverpool could have easily scored, 4 in the first half. 5? Yeah, 4 or 5, something like that. It was literally Liverpool 1 and Courtois 0, not Madrid. Because Madrid, as a unit, I love them. They're one of my teams. But in Champions League, for them to be clinical, they're not there, man. I have seen Vinny Jr. go down the left side, but there is no shape in attack. There is shape in defense. There is no shape. There is no progress. He does his thing on the left wing. He gets in. He tries to do his Vinny stuff, but the clinical finesse isn't there, and people are not getting in the right positions. Whether the midfielders or Bellingham. Bellingham is running all across the pitch, man. I feel like he's running around like a headless chicken, especially in this match. He was mauled upon by the Liverpool midfield. He didn't have any space. And props to Slot and Liverpool for how well they managed Madrid.
Yeah, so the question started to come in after Manchester United beat them at Anfield, right? And then a lot of people started talking about if they're in crisis. I mean, I would have personally liked it. I'm not a Liverpool fan. As a Manchester United fan, I would have been like, yeah, they're in a crisis, blah, blah, blah. But I looked at their games. It didn't feel like they were in a crisis. It felt like they were more like in a bad patch. And they had teams. Like the team selection was wrong. I think Isaac and Wirtz were not settling in. Then Isaac got injured, so he changed it a little bit. So with Ekitike, Salah, Szoboszlai, Gakpo, sometimes rotating with Wirtz.
McAllister.
So I think that's McAllister, right? Garenberg. So it's a very fluid system for Liverpool. And Salah coming to form in some sort. He's scoring goals, even though he got a gift from Emi Martinez against Aston Villa.
What a milestone. 250th goal for Liverpool.
250 goals for Liverpool, yes. 250 goals. But it was a very impressive performance by Liverpool against Real Madrid. Now the question arises, are Real Madrid, because there's a lot of noise coming from Real Madrid about Vinny Jr. and Xabi Alonso. Are they having some difficulties? Because they're winning the games that they should win, but they had a few bumps along the road, like the Atletico Madrid loss. I think it was, they conceded 5 goals, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Liverpool loss. So these are some losses that are being questioned. But they did beat Barcelona in the El Clasico. So Real Madrid are having a up and down season. Not up and down season.
The 2-1 win was only, I feel like, which even as a Madrid fan, was only against Barcelona.
Yeah, but I think that game always looked like Real Madrid wanted to win. The desire was there. I don't think Barcelona ever looked like winning. Barcelona, that game looked like a draw, but Madrid really wanted to win.
What is Barcelona's problem? Why are they struggling?
High line. Barcelona are struggling because of their high line in the Champions League. They just drew today, right?
Barcelona and
they
Chelsea
dropped points against Club Brugge of Belgium. I am very much impressed by some of the players that Club Brugge have got. So young, hungry players and fast players. So Barcelona are playing this high line and they're not in sync. And I think a lot of pundits, including Thierry Henry today, mentioned that their high line is going to be very much an Achilles heel for them in the Champions League. If they want to win it, they will have to adjust accordingly. They can't just keep on playing the high line and expect to win games. So that is their problem for now.
The team that Chelsea drew against was Qarabagh, who I talked about as soon as Champions League started. The team from Azerbaijan. And I spoke very highly of them, how good they are. And it's such a huge achievement for Qarabagh to draw against one of the world champions, Chelsea, right?
The club
world champions. And Qarabagh sit number 15 right now in the table in Champions League. It's absolutely incredible of like their possibility. They can very much, seems like now that they can make it to the playoffs.
They can, yes. Qarabagh and also your David Luiz's team beat Villarreal, I think, today, 1-0.
Yes, I'm very happy. That's another team. Villarreal to lose to a team from Cyprus. Even though David Luiz didn't have a goal contribution, Still, I'm very happy David Luiz will get to continue to see him in the Champions League.
So we should mention the name of that team.
Paphos FC, Paphos Football Club from Cyprus.
Paphos. And talking about Villarreal, we can do another podcast and talk about Villarreal because I think they're flying high in La Liga. They're number 2 or 3 in La Liga, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're
Yes.
having a great season at La Liga. Very impressive by Marcelinho. He's the manager of Villarreal. Staying on the Champions League. So there's a team that is killing it and making it an art of not conceding goals, right? How to not concede a goal. There's a team in the Premier League and also in Champions League that is called Arsenal. So for that, Arsenal are the only team in the Champions League so far has not conceded a goal. So that is impressive, and I have they seem like they're favorites for both the Champions League and the Premier League. Looks
If
like
they
it, right?
continue, if they continue to defend like this, they will definitely win the Premier League. But only problem I have with the Champions League is that it has a mix of teams that are heavily attacking all across Europe. So, we're going to get to one of the biggest teams, which is Bayern Munich. We're going to get to all the other teams that attack and attack and attack. So, how long will this wall stand? We cannot call it the German wall. We call it the North London wall or something, because they're barely
But it's a pretty
conceding.
solid base.
It is. And if you're playing Fantasy Champions League, get all 3 Arsenal defenders in your Fantasy Champions League team, just like I did for my Fantasy Premier League team. I have 3 defenders from Arsenal because I'm sick and tired of their less attacking 1-0, 2-0 wins from set pieces.
And you also made one of their defender captain, right?
Yes, I made Gabriel the captain.
In the fantasy.
In the Fantasy Premier League this past game week, everybody thought that I was probably smoking something really special, but I wasn't. It was a very, very, very risky risk, not a calculator. It was a miscalculated risk I took, and it kind of paid off to some extent. But if Haaland scored a couple more or one more, I would have been heavily, I would have dropped. But I stood my ground, and I feel like it was a brave decision that I took.
So next goalkeeper should be the captain. Raya can be captain. He can have an assist
Raya.
and a clean sheet.
He doesn't play high
He's
balls
not
that much.
conceding goals.
Doesn't play long balls that much.
Well,
And
they sometimes Gyökeres, long ball to Gyökeres, one touch goal.
He's no Nick Pope. He's not gonna do it. Listen, it's
So no
Arsenal.
chance of,
They're gonna continue to
Raya.
pass within each other. It's gonna go Gabriel, Timber, Saliba, back to Timber, a long ball to Calafiori, Calafiori back to Raya. It's gonna go on, and then maybe a pass to Zubimendi, another to Rice, another to Eze, back to Gabriel. I can go on. I know exactly how they play. They will definitely win the Premier League. But with this possession hoarding, whatever Arsenal are doing, it's not going to cut it in the Champions League. Absolutely not. When they come against a big team, they will be done.
So speaking about big teams and not being done and cutting it in the Champions League, let's talk about Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
You
the
can hit us with
monsters.
your data.
The only data I have is how crazy is Harry Kane and how they are on 16 consecutive wins across all competitions this season. That's 16 across their the Bundesliga, their League Cup, and
DFB
Champions League.
Pokal.
DFB Pokal, and the Champions League. That's every game they have won. They went up against Chelsea not too long ago. They beat them, the World Club champions. They went up against PSG, the current Champions League team. The current Champions League champions, and they beat them 2-1. Even though I feel like Bayern Munich could have scored more, and I feel like PSG didn't do well, and especially after the red card that Luis Diaz got or received, I feel like PSG should have at least drawn the game. Bayern Munich at the second half, I didn't see them going for the win. I saw them kind of like waiting to sit it out. But the impact Bayern Munich has in the first 45 minutes, if you go across the highlights of all the games they have played so far, is absolutely devastating. The combination of Olise, Kane, Luis Diaz. Remind me who's in midfield. Is it Pavlovic?
Pavlovic and Kimmich.
Kimmich, yeah. So going back to the midfield, Kimmich and Pavlovic, the combination they have with Kane, Luis Diaz, and Olise, who are all like Luis Diaz, he scored 2 goals. For him to sink in that quickly in that system is absolutely incredible. Vincent Company, I know that he may not be doing much in that. It sounds so wrong. I'm sorry if anybody is watching, but for Company, he doesn't have to do anything. Imagine being the manager of that team, whether it's me or you, or if they tell you we're gonna do a lottery, put your raffle in, put your email address, and randomly we're gonna select you to manage Bayern Munich for one day, one match, one game week. So if the game is on a Friday, you have from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to train with the team, do the lineup, do the press conference, and be the manager. Do you really have to do anything? You just have to suit up, be on the sideline, and manage and talk to the physio. No, with that team, you don't need a high class manager. If Vincent Company could do it, I could do it. Make it make sense for this manager to get relegated with the team in the Premier League and then go to the Bundesliga, the one of the best clubs in Europe. Make it make sense. I know that a lot of people have ranted about it, but every time I see him on the touchline, I just walk away from the TV. I'm waiting for the broadcast to come back on. I cannot stand him to be Bayern Munich boss. It's just so weird.
Well, to be honest with you, he's doing a good job. He's managing the team. He's managing the players. And Harry Kane is saying that he's on good terms with Company, right? And apparently the defense looked pretty solid. Upamecano, who I don't rate highly at all, who's not a good defender, he looked like a world class defender against PSG. Jonathan Tah, he came from Bayer Leverkusen. He looked like a world beater. Where at Bayer Leverkusen, he was always looking to be like caught out for pace, like he was a Harry Maguire and Bayer Leverkusen's team, right? So Company is doing something right, and that team is solid. And I think also I think the my observation is that Luis Diaz has been the difference maker. The signing of Luis Diaz, it was Liverpool's loss. Liverpool are struggling without Luis Diaz to an extent, and Bayern Munich are gaining. And also, I think it has been a blessing in disguise with Jamal Musiala being injured. So now every player
Wow.
can play in their position. Harry Kane comes a little deep. He's playing in as a number 10 sometimes to distribute the long balls so that Olise and Luis Diaz can actually go. So with Musiala there, I don't think Kane would have dropped that deep. So Company has done some things. He has tweaked the system a little bit. So Kane is more involved as a center attacking mid and also a striker.
Something it's something even somebody with a PR background could do, but it's I really come on. When you have this level of depth, your tweaks are like you just walk into the meeting with a fat cup of coffee. It's like, okay, you are not playing today. You can play. You should obviously play. And drop to 10 sometimes. Okay, yeah, okay. Let's have a great. I mean, it's nothing to do with this team.
And no matter how many goalkeepers we sign, Manuel Neuer will still be the number one goalkeeper under
No matter
any manager.
what, yeah. People say, you know how they age like fine wine. No, he's ageless. I'm seeing him the same outfit, the same throws, the same passes, the same saves. And I think that,
And didn't he have like multiple fractures on his leg, broken leg? He was out for almost 2 years.
Fractures. You really think those are something for him to not be number one at the age of 39? Fractures.
So you think he can go up until he's 45?
He's going to play the next 2 World Cups. He's going to play the 2026 World Cup as German number one and the 2030 as well. I told you, everybody is automatic. He's manual. He's gonna go. There's no other manual keeper in the world.
Now, speaking about manual, uh, PSG looked a little manual in the first half, right?
Yeah, they did.
Uh, they were not like the same synchronized automatic team, but they put together after the red guard. They regrouped and came back. But still, PSG, I don't think they're gonna retain the Champions League, but they look very dangerous.
For sure. For sure. PSG are continue to be dangerous. And look at their lineup. I don't know if you know, Desiree Doué won an award for the young player in Europe. There's a name for it. I forgot.
Is it Golden Boy?
Golden Boy. Thank you so much. Golden Boy. And a lot of people were saying that Yamal might win it, but for Desiree Doué to get that, it speaks volumes of the impact that he has had in the French league and also all across Europe.
So now we're gonna wrap this thing up by this whole youth under 20 World Cup that was won by Morocco, right? So hit us with all the mesmerizing stuff, Fardan.
The mesmerizing stuff is that under 20 World Cup is always known for the big, more established countries, which was like established domestic structures, which was England, Brazil, France. There were a couple of surprises over the last 15 years, 16 years, or 25 or 30 years, which was Ghana in 2009, and then Serbia in 2015, Ukraine in 2019, and 2023 it was Uruguay. The tournament takes place every 2 years. The reason why this is special is because this year's winner is Morocco, and Morocco have been investing on the domestic structure since 2015 or 16, if don't quote me on it. And they did state they made a not a pact, they signed a contract that their domestic structure has to be state of the art with the best stadiums, best facilities, best rehab programs, best doctors, best physical therapists, and even the dorms have to go through a certain amount of not certain amount of something. The dorms have to be structured in a certain way. The kitchen has to be a certain way. The chefs have to be there. The protein intake, everything has to be on point. And the part of this squad, part of the starting 11 that played the final, were three players that didn't play anywhere in Europe in under 20 that were actually from the domestic level of Morocco. So if three players can come in and win the World Cup and be part of the starting 11 for the under 20 and be the under 20 champion, you have to watch out for this team for the next many World Cups. Maybe not 2026 World Cup, but remember 2022 World Cup wasn't that far away. It was just 3 years ago. And we know they beat big teams in that World Cup. Okay? Remember? Where is Ronaldo? Where is Ronaldo? They beat Portugal as well. They beat big teams. So for them to another come in, and if I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Argentina, I have to say, where is Messi? Where is Messi? They might do something like that too. So as a team that we have to watch out for, North Africa, if anybody can get close to World Cup or be a dark horse to some extent, I think it's going to be Morocco, and that's just the start of something big.
Well, that's good stuff for African teams, but we will all find out soon when it comes to the AFCON.
AFCON. Yes.
AFCON. Well, we'll see if Morocco wins the AFCON and takes the momentum into the World Cup. So you're going to say that there are going to be more players like Hakimi, Amrabat, these type of players
Yeah,
coming through Morocco's youth. Yeah.
A friend of mine visited Morocco, and what he saw everywhere, similar to Brazil. You know how in Brazil everybody is with the football, whether it's a street or a beach, everybody is with the football. It's their part of their life. It's part of their culture. Well, guess what? Morocco is the same. Starting from kids of barely this height, dribbling with the ball, playing with the football, and they want to verse everybody. He was visiting, and he was like, "Okay, we'll play football with you guys." He couldn't get to touch the ball. Nothing. He was just running around back and forth. He saw like 20 Hakimis in the same street. And if they're just on the street level, if they're dribbling like this, imagine what the skill level and the grit and the work rate they're gonna have on the pitch when they're representing their country.
The speed. Hakimi's speed. 11 players with Hakimi's speed, maybe 10 players with Hakimi's speed. That's scary.
Speaking of Hakimi, his injury, I felt so bad. He thinks that he might he might miss the World Cup. So his injury was very nasty. Luis Diaz was sent off, and we hope to see him soon.
I think there's an update that came out that it's 6 to 8 weeks.
Great.
He's going to be out. Good. So it's not ligaments. I think it's just some medical terms that were used.
Okay.
Partially sprained ligaments or something like that.
Okay.
But it's not broken. The ankle is not broken.
Okay.
So that's a good thing. So he should recover within. He needs to be immobilized for 2 weeks.
Awesome.
The ankle needs to be immobilized for 2 weeks, and then he should be good in 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, injuries and me. A lot of history. Anyways, so we're gonna leave it at that. It's been the Champions League and the Ronaldo episode and the Under-20 World Cup Moshla pod. We'll see you guys in the next one. But before that, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. And keep us motivated because we're giving you content for free. This is what we have passion for. So please come along with the passion with us. Fardan, I see that you're wearing a LAFC jersey. We can talk about LAFC in the next episode.
Absolutely.
Because they're still in the playoffs.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. I'll see you guys in the next one. The sun factor should shine brightly. Take it.
Yes, let's do it. Good night.